Top 5 microorganisms and pathogens that are used to treat other diseases. 5. Bacteriophage Therapy. In 2015, 69-year-old Tom Patterson was determined to have pancreatitis, aggravation of the pancreas, while visiting Egypt with his better half. Customary treatment didn't work, and he was later traveled to Frankfurt, Germany. Specialists depleted the liquid around his pancreas to find he was tainted with drugs facing the Tobacter Maribyrus. Patterson was later traveled to Thornton Hospital, San Diego, California, where a channel was embedded around his pancreas to control the dribbling. Lamentably, the channel slipped, and the liquid spilled into his mid-region and circulatory system. Patterson before long began encountering high fever, genuine agonies, and breathing challenges. He additionally fell into a trance-like state that went on for around 2 months. Doctors made do with bacteriophage treatment as a final desperate attempt to save his life. Not at all like what the name recommends, bacteriophages are infections and not microorganisms. The name signifies microorganisms eater and alludes to a particular class of infections that assault microbes. Each bacterium has a bacteriophage that has developed to utilize it to replicate. Bacteriophage treatment alludes to the utilization of these microbes assaulting infections to fix bacterial contaminations. It was the go-to strategy for managing destructive microscopic organisms until antitoxins tagged along. In any case, its outcomes are not experimentally proven. Nevertheless, the treatment worked, and Patterson was gradually recuperating from the trance-like state, until the Bormanii microbes transformed and created obstruction against the infection. Specialists tackled this issue by passing a more up-to-date strain of the infection into Patterson's body until he was at long last restored. 4. Maribyrus. Researchers have consistently realized that the Maribyrus infection, otherwise known as MG1 infection, assaults and obliterates malignant growth cells. Notwithstanding, researchers at the Ottawa Hospital and the University of Ottawa have found that the Maribyrus infection additionally assaults and wrecks HIV-contaminated cells. HIV works by tainting and quickly duplicating in the safe framework cells of its hosts. Nonetheless, some HIV-contaminated cells turn torpid after some time, while others proceed to reproduce. Doctors frequently oversee antiretroviral medications to stifle HIV. Be that as it may, the medications just work on dynamic HIV-contaminated cells and have no impact on the torpid cells. The lethargic cells kick right into it and start to quickly duplicate when the patient quits taking the antiretroviral drugs. Lab tests have demonstrated that the Maribyrus infection will devastate torpid HIV-tainted cells, showing a potential solution for HIV. Be that as it may, the system is viewed as uncertain since tests have just been led in the lab, and this strategy has not been tried on creatures or people. 3. Colles toxin treatment. Colles poison therapy includes utilization of microscopic organisms to treat disease. The method is named after William Colles, a New York bone specialist who created it during the 1890s. Colles created the therapy in the wake of seeing that patients who get contaminated with bacterial illnesses while recuperating from disease medical procedures were regularly in an ideal situation. The non-infected patients. Colles accepted this happened on the grounds that the bacterial disease fortified the patient's invulnerable framework. So he started infusing live microorganisms into his malignant growth patients. He later changed to utilizing dead microscopic organisms, given that live microorganisms could at present reason destructive infections. Scientists disagree on how the cycle functions. Some think the infused microorganisms reinforce the safe framework against malignancy cells. Others think the microorganisms really support the creation of either a protein called interleukin-12, IL-12, or tumor corruption factor, TNF, proteins that battle malignant cells. Another gathering believe it's high fever that murders the malignant cells, much the same as the pyrotherapy method we referenced earlier. Nevertheless, Colles poison treatment had blended outcomes. It worked for certain patients yet didn't work with others. In any case, it was generally utilized until the mid-1950s, when it was dislodged by other malignant growth medicines like chemotherapy. An improved form using hereditarily altered microbes is as yet utilized today. 2. Predatory bacteria. Predatory bacteria are those that attack and eat other microorganisms. Predatory bacteria work by attacking and breaching the walls of enemy bacteria cells. Once inside, it eats the bacterium's innards before reproducing and leaving to attack other similar bacteria cells. Scientists are already working on using predatory bacteria to treat other bacterial infections, especially superbugs that have become immune to regular antibiotics. In November 2016, the BBC reported that scientists at Imperial College London and the University of Nottingham had successfully used the Bacteriophage predatory bacteria to kill Shigella, a deadly genus of bacteria that causes food poisoning and kills over 1 million people a year. Scientists observed Shigella populations reduce by 4,000 times after exposure to Bacteriovirus in the lab. Another test in fish larvae saw the survival rate of the larvae infected with Shigella increase from 25% to 60%. Scientists plan on testing Bacteriovirus on other deadly human bacteria, including Salmonella and E. coli. 1. Vehicle T therapy. White blood cells assume a fundamental job in the body's invulnerable framework. As of late, researchers have built up a strategy for utilizing the T cells to make fanciful antigen receptor T cell treatment, CAR-T treatment. An anti-cancer treatment, CAR-T treatment works by extricating the characteristic T cells in the body and programming them with illusory antigen receptors, which extraordinarily improve their capacity to identify, titrate, and decimate harmful cells. The hereditarily changed T cells are custom-fitted to focus on the particular malignant growth influencing the patient, making them the ideal disease cell assassins. However, CAR-T treatment is just utilized as an alternative after all other options have run out in light of the fact that it can cause a heap of results, including mind irritation. The cycle is likewise tedious, since the T cells should be custom-fitted to the patient. The whole methodology could require 4 months.